The Relit project was a concept that Stuart Alexander and myself developed in the studio one evening in the pub, to be honest. It was developed as a response to waste in lighting equipment, especially in the modern age with LED technology and the claims it can last 20, 30 years. We collate this sort of testing equipment in the studio that we don't use, and when we offer it back to manufacturers, they don't want it because new products have been released. And we realised it was accumulating a huge amount of waste, not just in our studio but in every other lighting consultancy in the UK, London, the world. So we decided to speak to manufacturers to see whether they would allow us to use this lighting equipment for free to work on charity projects around the UK that couldn't afford lighting or had energy problems with their lighting. We work for free, and we have 2 or 3 projects that have been very successful, and we continue to work with other charities moving forward. If you don't find a deeper connection with the local community and the public that inhabit the schemes you deliver, if there's not a love for them, then they do tend to just deteriorate and fail. Even with modern technologies which last a long time, they need to be upkept, and we're living in times where money is tight, and governments and local authorities can't necessarily afford to look after everything. So we need the public to love their lighting to the point where they want it to succeed. They take ownership of that, and to some extent they put pressure on local governments to maintain and look after it. So what we've decided in the way that we develop public realm lighting schemes is to ensure that we involve the public in the development of those schemes, and they have a direct connection to the place. And by doing that, we find that there's a love for those schemes, and they retain themselves. Rightly or wrongly, we take a step backwards. So normally when you get a project, there's normally a pressure to start moving on the scheme quite quickly. You only have one opportunity to question and review and analyse the brief. Once you start moving forward, it's too late. And sometimes you can move forward in slightly the wrong direction. So we take a step back, we review it, we question it, we collectively amongst the team talk about the project and what other ideas we might have. And then we talk with the client, community group, other stakeholders. We involve as many people as we possibly can. Only then can you really move forward, knowing that you fully understand both the brief, the people, the place, the brand, whoever it is you're working with. It's very easy, I think, as in any design profession, architecture, lighting design, interior design, is to get too focused on the finished project and that photo that will be in your portfolio, which everyone will, maybe you'll win awards. But it doesn't mean it will last more than 12 months of care and love or relevance. And I think the only way you can ensure that something can retain itself over a longer period of time is to find a connection with people, because at the end of the day, whether it's a place, a brand, an experience, that connection is the only way it's going to survive. Don't spend too much time on computers.
So go on the field.
Well, I think what happens is, as we get busier as human beings, and we spend a lot of time on our phones and our laptops and our smart devices, my fear is that our only source of inspiration is becoming Google rather than the real world and the experiences you can have. Being in Bucharest is a good example of that. I'll wander the streets, I'll understand a bit about the culture. I can't learn that by just going on Google and looking at some pictures. And I worry when I look at the younger generation of graduates and designers coming through of how much time in the creative process they spend staring at a screen. So my advice would be, whilst the computers are great and they are the production to work, they shouldn't be the source of inspiration.